It's not showing up yet. I mean, live yet. I don't know.
It is live.
Okay. It is live. Okay, Jai Sri Ram, everybody. Welcome to Bharat Marg and welcome Vinay Ji for joining us today on this important issue. Okay, Canada is a dream place for many people to come. They run business on immigration, so that they can have people come fill the farms and make money out of it. But what it really means, what is happening in Canada, you must know. Okay, Vinay Ji, welcome to Bharat Marg. But before going further, friends, make sure to subscribe the channel Bharat Marg if you're here for the first time. Also, friends, please make sure to press the notification bell so that you can get to inform with the with the title. Like right now, it is breaking Canadian expected to become homeless in record number. Okay, this title do come to you so that you can choose to join and you can add your comment and become the part of the conversation. Okay, also like the video, comment on the video, share the video, and let's spread the word of truth around the world, friends. Okay, on what is really happening. Vinay Ji, welcome to Bharat Mar. Thanks for joining us. And what is really happening? I have some question for you. Okay, very, very pertinent question. Canadians expected to become homeless in huge number. My question is simple: why the government will do like this? They have increased the rate of interest again, unless and until there is an agenda behind it. My question is: Justin Trudeau government, the Canadian sitting Canadian Prime Minister, does he wants to see more Canadian homeless to give handout for votes? What is his plan? Please go ahead and answer, Vinay Ji. We would love to know from you.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. This is a great topic because this is currently what's happening in Canada, and it is extremely kind of disturbing for a lot of people. People are losing sleep over this, and actually many people are in a situation where they're unable to kind of sustain on a day-to-day basis. Okay, forget monthly, forget yearly or whatever, right? So they're unable to sustain on a day-to-day basis, and this is the reason why you're asking why this is happening. And I can only think of a couple of things, and one of the major one that I'm going to focus on is political. Okay, so Justin Trudeau right now is in a minority situation. He is partnered with NDP, and they have formed a coalition government. I don't think, I shouldn't say coalition. It's kind of more of a support. So because NDP is not part of the government anyways, there are no ministers from NDP. So given that, what is the end goal that Trudeau is looking for? Trudeau is looking to see, number one, he's got a pathetic logic of kind of trying to decrease the inflation, because inflation has gone up quite a bit, and the the whole economy is kind of topsy-turvy right now, because the cost of everything has gone up here. Okay, and it has happened in many other countries too. I'm not denying that, but in Canada especially, it's unbelievable. Gas has gone up like 40-50%, and the price of oil, cooking oil, has gone up 100%. And they're still saying that the inflation is only reached about double digits, about 10-11%. I'm not sure how they calculate this logic, because I have a feeling they've kind of taken an average of everything and then come up with this 11% inflation. So the objective is for them to reduce the inflation. What is inflation? Inflation is when people have too much money, and and there are not enough goods to buy. Okay, that is inflation. Okay. So basically, he's trying to reverse this by saying there should be enough goods to buy, and people who should have less money to in their pockets. So
Mhm.
that way, the people will not spend too much. Okay, and now the price of everything is going to start dropping because now people are not spending as much. So that's his skewed logic here. So, but the thing is, you got to keep in mind that the coming to the topic on hand right now, with
Mhm.
the property prices, having gone up in the last few years, it reached a point where people like new immigrants and stuff like that, they were unable to afford this. Okay, afford houses. So what the government started doing was this just past year, 2022. They started increasing the interest rate so that the price of the property start dropping. But you got to keep in mind that the properties, people who purchased in the past. Okay, I'm not talking about people who purchased 20 years ago or 15
But
years ago who want to sell.
Vinay, I'm going to cut you off for a minute, okay? Please don't mind, okay? I just have a question for you, okay? That keep on increasing the interest rate looks to be like Justin Trudeau is acting like my friend, okay? Let me say what my friend did, so it kind of makes some sense to you, okay? Uh, See, he was ironing the shirt once, okay? And he went to the doctor and he showed his ears and it got burned down. Doctor asked him, "What happened to you?" He said, "I was ironing the shirt and one stupid fellow called and I had to pick up the phone. Instead of picking up the phone, I kept the iron in the ears, you know? And, doctor said, "Okay, that makes sense. But what happened to the second ear?" He said, "Sir, what do I say?" The stupid fellow called again. You, well, man,
Yeah,
come on, give me a break. Don't you know in last 6 months it's not working and you will do the same thing again
it's
and
not
again more?
working. This is
And
what I was trying
also,
to. I was trying to go there. Let me continue where I was. So basically, the interest rates have been going up. In the, I mean, sorry, yeah, bank has been increasing the interest rates to kind of drop the house market price, because now with the interest rate,
Mhm.
it has increased 8 times. And yesterday, on the 25th of January 2023, the government again increased by 0.25%. Okay.
Mhm.
That's Bank of Canada. I shouldn't say the government. It's the Bank of Canada that increased, but it's obviously they
Yeah,
work on the
it's a
instructions of the
go.
government. Okay.
Right.
So the increase are by 0.25. So 8 times they've increased, and the interest rates were at around 1.8, 1.9 in few months ago. Now the interest rates have gone up to around 5% or 6%, which is prime. And guess
Right.
what? It's like 4 times almost it's
Mhm.
gone up. And how the heck do people afford it? So his logic is to bring the price down of the houses so that people can afford buying the house. Okay. And now, if you look at it, let's say a person has $1 million in mortgage. Okay. Now he's probably paying around $4,000 in monthly payments. But as a result of this interest rate hike, his monthly payment has gone up to $6,000, just like that. But you got to keep in
Mhm.
mind, in Canada, if you are a normal 9 to 5 job worker, you don't have any disposable income.
Mhm.
Okay, a lot of people sitting in India, a lot of people sitting in Pakistan, a lot of people sitting in other countries think that, oh, Canada is the best, and we have a lot of disposable income. I can buy a Toyota, a Lamborghini, live in a mansion and whatever, right? But when you come here
Mhm.
and you go through the reality, you understand what it is. Okay, people don't have disposable income. All right, and many of them here work 2, 3, 4 jobs. 4 jobs they work.
Mhm.
One of my friends actually has got two full 40-hour jobs, which means he's working 80 hours a week. Okay. So imagine the stress that he's going through.
I
And
know people like that too. Yeah.
right. And this has caused a lot of burden on people. Okay. People are unable to pay. And now many people are thinking of walking away, and they're unable to pay. They're going for either bankruptcy or some consumer proposal or something else. So these are things that are happening actually. And then you hear us, Victor Dodig. Victor Dodig is the CEO of CIBC. CIBC is one of the largest banks in Canada. Guess what he's saying? Oh, this is not a bank credit problem. This is a consumer lifestyle issue. More money needs to flow from discretionary spending to interest spending. So what he's saying is, guys, stop spending on your discretionary spending. Like don't
And
buy
give it to the
groceries
bank for mortgage.
and give it to the bank for the support the interest. This is what he's saying. And then Scotiabank CEO, who's a new CEO, I don't know what he's smoking. He said only 20,000 of the bank's borrowers could be at risk, which is about 2.5% of the bank's mortgage customers. What the hell is he talking about?
Okay, one
This is
second,
going to
Vinay
affect a
ji,
lot of people.
before you dive into it too much, right? I just want to give you some stats for the people benefit here. Okay, how many people are homeless in the given year? Okay, let's talk about it. 235,000 Canadians experience homeless. In the report in 2016 estimates at least 235,000 Canadian experience homeless in a given year. The actual number is potentially much higher, given that many people who are unhoused live with the friends and relatives who don't get count on. How many of the homeless on a given day? The number of Canadians who experience homelessness on a given night in Canada is estimated to be 35,000 individuals. Hello? 35,000 individuals go homeless in a night. Okay?
Yeah.
So, anyway, so see, there are a couple of things I want to ask you. Okay, now the renters are not able to pay the rent. Okay, see, basically there are 5 level homes, as you know, in Canada, where they had renters. It is meant for renting the home, and the problem is the people, if they don't have money, they are so much of shoplifting happening, credit card they are not able to pay, and guess what, they are not able to pay the rent. Last thing they want to pay is for the rent. Now when they are not able to pay the rent, the homeowner is not able to throw them out right away. They have to go through all the procedures for a few months, and so they will end up paying the whole money for the mortgage, or they will get checked out. Isn't this a vicious spiral that is happening, Vinayji?
Of course, I mean, like what the homelessness report that you showed is actually from 2016. Okay, but today it's 2023. So if it was 235,000 in 2016 when things were normal, today in this abnormal situation, it must have at least quadrupled. It must be in the
At
millions.
least, half a million plus, you think?
No. It must be millions, probably over a million, right? So this is what I'm talking about. Now let's come back to Mr. Justin Trudeau, the honorable Prime Minister of Canada, and the benevolent and the most merciful, and he thinks he's God.
Oh,
Okay.
no. Please don't put those subjectives. He is. You can use these, okay, just for your information. Handsome looking, with the pink socks.
Yeah, pretty much. So this man, he came into power just because of his father's name, and he's in the dynastic situation here. Canada is there's no, I mean, there's no doubt there is dynastic politics here in Canada. So this guy has absolutely no economic background, economic any education, nothing. He's a high school drama teacher. Okay, so that's all his education is, and the people who he has employed as economists are coming up with these stupid statements that I just read about, and it's unfortunate that he's got a guy by name, what is this, Tiff McClam, as the Bank of Canada governor, who's probably a puppet in his hands, and this guy is doing exactly whatever Justin Trudeau decides to do. But why is he doing it? Coming back to your original question, it's all politics. I told you, right? The reason is he wants to shake the ground of these Canadians to say, like, the Canadians to say that, oh my God, the housing market, inflation, everything has gone up so much. We have to bring it down, and the only way to do it is by increasing interest rate. Fantastic. So he increased the interest rate and 8 times, and guess what has happened? It has dislodged many people, have led many people into poverty. People are not even able to eat one square meal a day because you heard the CIBC guys say that, don't eat, just put that money into your interest. Okay. So this is what's going on here. So guess what's going to happen? Elections are coming soon. All right. And in the CBC report that I saw yesterday, they're basically saying that by the third quarter of 2023, the interest rates will start going back to normal. Okay, they will start decreasing.
Normal is what?
It'll start
Normal
decreasing.
is what? It's not going to go back to where it was.
No, it'll not go back to where it was right away overnight. It'll start again. They will do the thing. This whole thing where we are right now, it took about what, 6 to 8 months for them to start increasing the interest rate, right? So we are at this point today. But it's the same thing. It'll probably over the next 6 months or 8 months after the third quarter, they'll start decreasing the interest rate. And then this is a CBC report. And guess why they'll start doing that? At that point, the first interest rate, relief is going to be announced by Justin Trudeau himself. He will say, "Oh, guys, you know what? This is actually we are hitting recession." And this is what the government wants to do for you guys. We're going to give
Hand out.
0.25% relief of interest rate so that we can ease off on the recession. Then after a few days, we will give another 0.5%. And then this is all political drama because eventually he is looking at, people have a short-term memory. That's the unfortunate part of people, right? So they'll say,
Vinay Ji, let me hold you right there. You are saying political drama, but the man who is from Conservative Party is not talking anything about it. He is nowhere on the screen. He disappeared.
Because the
Very easy.
The issue with the Canadian politics is they're not as gutsy as probably some of the politicians in the US or in India or maybe in the Europe. Because here the politicians are all out to themselves. They're not as gutsy. This is the problem. So maybe that's the reason Conservative is not talking. There are only three major parties here: NDP, Liberals, and Conservatives. NDP and Liberals are hand in glove now. So it's the Conservative. Conservatives are not talking. So what do we do?
Conservatives, where are they? Are they in a hellhole or what? They are not even talking a word about it.
Not talking about it because you know what, I don't know what the issue is with that the Polier, right, that the Conservative leader. But it's unfortunate that we don't have protests like what they have in the US or in India. We don't have protests like people going berserk here to say the government has to do this, to do that, or political parties coming in and jumping and saying they got to do this and do that. So this guy is taking advantage. This guy, meaning Trudeau, is taking advantage of all of this, and it's all for his political gains. Because once he starts decreasing the interest rate, and this is very close to the election time, people will say, "Oh my God, this guy is God because he did so much for us."
And also give $101 to everybody.
Yeah, he'll do that. I mean, send a check for $100 or $200. This is what they do in India during elections, right? People come and give you 1 gram of gold and one sari and one veshti, that is one dhoti.
But in India, it is illegally done.
It's illegally done, but here they do it legally because they'll say that, oh, we are giving back $100 per family.
Yeah, because it's a developed nation, you see. It's not
Exactly.
a third world country.
Exactly.
But coming to the third world country, let me ask you this question, Vinay Ji. We are almost there. Let me ask you this: how is the shoplifting? Shoplifting is skyrocketed. Okay, during this time, people stealing things, people doing break-ins, robbery in the shops. You are not safe if you are running a shop. Okay, and things are getting disappeared from the shops like left, right, and center. House break-ins, beggar problem. How they are going to help Justin Trudeau in his second election, because he has a poor opponent, or what? How is he going to benefit from it?
Okay, I'm just going to read this report from CBC. CBC is a Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, and very obviously they're government owned, but still their reports
Mouthpiece of,
are
like they say to China, this is a Canadian government mouthpiece.
right. Exactly. But anyways, I'm going to read a quick 3 lines from this report that they published just a few days ago. So they said it's if the central bank is indeed finished hiking rates. So basically, they're saying that this yesterday's hike was the last of it. Okay, they're not going to increase anymore. All right, and so it's not a moment too soon for people like Mesbah Mehtab. Mesbah Mehtab is a guy who lives with his wife in Whitby, Ontario, which is only about 30 minutes from Toronto. And he and his wife bought a home in Whitby in 2021. They were previously renters paying just shy of $2,000 a month, but they wanted more space for their children. So they bought a house, okay, that they could afford on a variable rate, right? Their original mortgage payment was about $3,000 a month. A bit of a stretch, but workable within their family budget. All right. However, after the interest rate hike, guess what? Mehtab is paying $5,000 a month, a level that Mehtab says gobbles up every penny he can get his hands on. So he doesn't have, first of all, he was $3,000 itself was a stretch for him. Now he's paying $5,000. So how the heck is he going to come up with the remaining $2,000? Because their family income
And
itself,
his home value is so down that he cannot even go for house line or home line or second mortgage. Nothing is possible because he is on a overboard with the loan.
exactly, home line will not be approved, line of credit will not be approved or anything, because he cannot borrow anymore because he doesn't have any disposable income. Because they will say,
Yes.
okay, we will lend you
Yeah.
$100,000, but how are you going to pay? Because you're not even able to pay your mortgage, and you're
No,
not
no,
able
Vinayji,
to
my
live.
thing is, when he bought the home, it was $200,000 worth, but today it is only $150,000 worth
Yeah, exactly.
because Justin Trudeau successfully brought the home price down, like what he
So,
said.
what Mehtab is saying is Justin Trudeau is complaining about inflation, right? But Mehtab is a guy who actually is like you and I, who actually goes through the monthly payments, because Justin Trudeau doesn't have to pay mortgage. He lives in a government provided house in the prime minister's quarters. So he doesn't have mortgage. He doesn't have any of this to worry about. But Mehtab,
You
what he's
cannot
saying,
complain him. He lived
exactly.
from childhood like that.
He says, I would rather pay $10 for bread instead of $2, but have a house and a job than be jobless and homeless. This is what he's saying.
Absolutely,
This is the
absolutely.
bottom line. This is what people are suffering, people are complaining about. And if this man doesn't do anything soon, this Trudeau, his government is going to go. Like, that is for sure, given. But
But
I'll tell you that he'll become a huge liability for the country.
but Vinayji, let me ask you one thing. There is two sides to this coin. Okay, one is how the customer is taking a blow by inflation, by credit card debt, Okay, already whomever is having credit card, they are wrecking up on it, and all those things are putting them tremendous pressure financially. Okay, but there is other unseen pressure that comes on a regular ordinary citizen of Canada. One is the financial pressure is creating a tremendous amount of divorces. Okay, because of the stress and other thing. Do you agree with me on it? Tremendous amount
Absolutely.
of divorces. Yeah,
Absolutely.
because
Because,
I know a family where the husband says, if you lose a second job, don't live here.
yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, this
do you
this
agree
is
with me on it?
this is
And one last thing, okay, one last thing. And one is divorce. Second is what happens to those people whose car got theft, whose home got theft, with robbed. What happens to them? So they have a blow from this side as well as this side. Yes, Vinay.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, like, this has caused a lot of family issues as well within between husband and wife. Like, divorce rates is probably increasing, suicide rates are probably increasing, and people are actually in depression actually, and they are so depressed because they're unable to sleep in the night because they don't know what is happening in the morning, because there are so even if they want to sell their house, guess what the problem is. Because the house rates, let's say he bought a house, this guy, let's say, talk about Mehtab, right? He bought a house in 2021. Let's say he bought it for $1 million. Today the same house is worth about maybe 800, 850. So guess what's going to
Lucky if
happen?
he's lucky.
If he's
If
lucky,
he's lucky.
if he sells the house, he's going to lose the 150,000. Where is he going to come up with that $150,000 money to bridge the gap there? He doesn't have that kind of
Okay.
money in his bank.
Well,
So
okay.
this is going, yeah, leading to a lot of stress, marital distress, suicides, and depression, and causing a lot of turmoil.
Vinayji, let me ask you a final question on it to you. Okay. See, what happens when a person walk out? He's just put the key and says, I cannot afford this one no more, and he is walking out, or she is walking out of the home. Now, what the bank will do? Okay, and there are a lot of debt consolidations, shops, they run business on this. So, will they able to help them, or anything more miserable will happen to them?
No, it's
Like
not that
in this case,
easy
mental
to.
concept of the home.
Yeah, it's not that easy to walk away. I mean, like, people have, who have the guts, they walk away from the bank, but the bank has more power than any of us. So the bank will basically take you to the court, and they will say that you owe us $800,000 in mortgage. Let's say, for example, right? So they'll say basically, you know what, we are going to auction off this house. It's going to be a foreclosure. Okay, so I'm using the term foreclosure is when banks take possession of your house and they sell it at whatever rate, the price they can get. So let's say they get about, when in foreclosures, people are actually looking for foreclosures. People who have deep pockets, they look for foreclosure houses. And if a house is foreclosed, the bank can sell it for 300, 400, 500,000, whatever it comes their way, right? The remaining 300,000, let's say they sell it for 500,000, the remaining 300,000, you are still liable. They will still take you to the court, and then you have to go through either file a consumer proposal or bankruptcy. Those are the only two options you have to kind
Yeah,
of,
but
with the consumer
what the
proposal.
bank can do? Already, the poor guy is not able to pay the mortgage. He doesn't have a job. He is walking out. What they can do?
The bank will squeeze you like sugarcane juice. Have you seen the way that guy who does sugarcane juice? He doesn't let that even one single drop go wasted, right? He will squeeze the hell out of you. That's exactly what the banks do. The bank will still squeeze you. They don't care. That is how ruthless the banks
But
are.
one last question. One last question. The whole thing of people not able to pay the mortgage, people walking out of the home, people putting the home in the sale, and let's say selling it for lesser price. Vinayji, this is my last question to you. Is it going to create a financial crisis of banks going bankrupt?
Banks can
Do you
banks
foresee
can
this?
banks can never go bankrupt. Please keep
No,
that.
like what the financial crisis happened in US. You remember that?
Yeah, that okay. What happened with Lehman Brothers in the US several years ago was a different scenario. Okay, they were actually giving credit willy nilly to people, 40-year, 50-year mortgages. Doesn't happen in Canada, and here
Canada
you
is now they are giving 30 years. Previously, it was 15 years. Canada is giving 30 years easy.
30 years, and that's about it. So here banks are a lot more prudent, a lot more careful, and they're here to make money. So banks will never go bankrupt. If you're thinking that banks can go bankrupt,
Even
you're dreaming. So I'll tell you,
even though if more people file bankruptcy
even though
because
more
they couldn't
people
afford.
file bankruptcy, guess what's going to happen? Banks are extremely careful because a lot of people don't want to file bankruptcy because it'll affect their credit rating for the next 8 years, 10 years. They will not be able to buy a house. Okay. So people go for consumer proposal. Consumer proposal, you basically get a thing from the bank where you are allowed to pay over a period of much longer at a shorter monthly payments. So you still owe them, but now you're homeless because you've sold your house and you foreclosed the house. Now you don't have a house. You still have to support your family. How are you going to support it? Either you go homeless or you live in some rental property or whatever.
Anyway, so this is the truth of Canada, folks. I'm saying you, it's a very, very sad scenario. I study India very closely, as many of the people who watch this channel know, and I can say you the economy in India is booming. It's not like this, Vinayji. I can assure you on this. That's why these guys are
Absolutely.
so much in burning, and they're trying to attack India and Indian government. Because the whites couldn't take it. In my mind, okay. I may be wrong, okay, but this is it. But they couldn't take it. Oh man, so far we have been calling them third world country and calling us a developed nation. What happened now all of a sudden, kind of thing, you know. But anyway, Vinayji, thank you very much for joining us and
Thank you.
appreciate it highly for giving your input. And thank you, and looking forward to see you again. Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna.